Okay, hello out there. We are here together, me and Claire, to share about the big full moon in the sky that you may have noticed when you step outside. It was actually yesterday, November 27th. I don't remember the exact time. And we are talking about a full moon, the phase the moon is in, and the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is an air sign. It represents the intellect, the mind. Looking at the sign that the moon is in, along with the phase of the moon and the sign and the element, that's what I was trying to say, are all characteristics that help us understand more of this time. So I'm going to pass the baton to Claire to speak more about what it means to have a full moon in Gemini. And I invite you to listen and reflect on your own experience that you've been having the last few days around this time of the full moon, and how this can help you more understand yourself. And Claire, I'm going to pass to you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Full moon in Gemini. So, full moon is a body of a celestial body that is associated with water. So we're always talking about water when we're talking about the moon. Controls the tides and the ocean and us, I believe, since we're 70+% water. And when that full moon is in the sign of Gemini, as Jamie was saying, it's in an air sign. So you bring water and your feelings and your energetic body into all things air. Gemini is about communication, really. I mean, that's what is the way it lines up in the zodiac is it's the first air sign. So it goes fire, fire, earth, air, water on repeat 3 times. And the first fire is Aries, and the first earth is Taurus, and the first air is Gemini, and the first water is Cancer. Anyway, the Gemini air, therefore, has a rawness to it, just the need to communicate. It's not as developed as the second and third air signs, meaning it's not lesser. It's just got a particular rawness to it. All of those first elements bring that aspect. So I like to think of the full moon as the sort of most one of the more prominent phases of the moon, for obvious reasons. And so you've got a lot of energy in this full moon in Gemini, because it's just really, there's a need to it. There's a need to communicate. And I don't think of it really as a need to communicate with somebody else, because the moon, and my practice anyway of paying attention to the moon, is, you guessed it, the need to communicate with myself or internally. And that invitation that this practice of the new moon setting an intention and the full moon sort of gathering evidence or results or possible messages about your intention is the fun I have with the moon every 2 weeks in these cycles. And so for me anyway, the full moon in Gemini was really, new moon in Scorpio a couple of weeks ago was really about the depth work, just what's really true for you, and trying to set intention around just making room anyway for your truth. Sometimes we don't know our truth because we we don't take enough room for our truth, and therefore that's why we don't know it. 2 weeks later, full moon in Gemini to me means not so much verbalizing my truth. I don't think of Gemini as only words or only about words. I think of it as the need to communicate my truth. Now, that can be words, it can be actions, it can be showing up, not showing up, looking at someone, meaning. I think that that's really what maybe Gemini in the full moon can mean, can say to us, is that there's meaning in what I mean, because the first fire sign, Aries, is intense. The first earth sign is really intense. And Gemini, about communication, as the first air sign, what would that be? Isn't it meaning? I mean, aren't we as humans kind of, isn't our whole civilization about finding meaning, really? So at least the artistic part of it. So this full moon for me in Gemini is really about recognizing the need to have meaning. And that again, isn't so much about doing something, what do they call it? Virtue signaling. It's not about having a virtuous meaning. It's just noticing how you make meaning out of things, how you communicate with yourself. This could be a time when you pivot and get an insight to flip a quote unquote meaning. You've been thinking one way about yourself, your career, your mother, your partner, your body. Well, full moon in Gemini says if that feeling of that story isn't working for you, you can flip it, because Gemini is twins. It's the two humans talking with each other and presumably finding meaning. It's not just senseless chatter, especially when the full moon is involved. It's about maybe offering a different story to yourself about your body, or about your history, your past, or your capabilities, or who you are. It coming from a new moon in Scorpio. You can go really deep with this idea of communication. What are you saying to yourself about yourself? What are you saying to other people about yourself? Et cetera, et cetera. That's what I take from this full moon in Gemini.
Thank you. As you're talking, I'm like going through the files in my mind of what I've been experiencing the last few days, the conversations I've been having with myself, the stories I'm telling myself. So I'm going to guess that many of you out there also have different things you can use this material Claire shared to work with, and have fun with it, and see how the theme of this is moving through you, and how you can work with it and get this other perspective of how we're all kind of part of this energy. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying listening, and we'll see you next time in the next new moon. Okay, bye.